Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 7 of Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond. Things are going quite well. Our first and only city has expanded quite nicely. We have a colonist which we are sending over here to the west. I found a great location for our second city. I'm just hoping that this Slavic explorer disappears out of the way. We do know there are a few aliens roaming around up in this corner of the map, even though I did manage to take out the nest. But we do have to be careful that they don't come and attack our outpost once we get it up and running. We're just having a little bit of a look in this direction, just trying to clear out a few aliens that have been bothering our trade route down at Fort Barca, because we've already lost one. There is a kraken here off the coast. I'm not worried too much about that. I don't think it's going to be able to hurt us on land, although I'm not entirely sure whether it can. It might actually just come and wipe us out here, so I'm going to keep my eye on it. Those guys did end their turn in miasma, which is quite unfortunate. No aliens around. Now, I'd actually prefer this tile. I'm not sure why the AI is suggesting that tile, but, you know, Civilization, the AI rarely ever suggests the best tile. Let's have a quick look around this outpost. We're going to use all of our movement there because we're going across the river. I just may avoid trading with this place here. I don't know if there's an alien nest around it. Let's be honest, these guys could have already dealt with it if there is one there. So I think what I'm actually going to do is pull these units back, and it would certainly be nice if I had a unit over here to try and protect my colony. I am actually building another gunner anyway, so we will have a couple of ranged units. A gunner is basically well, it's not even an archer. I suppose it's technically a composite bow because it's the first upgrade. I do see that we do have an alien drone up here. There's actually quite a few alien units up there, actually. A couple of wolf beetles. So maybe we do need to bring these marines back slightly to actually give us a little bit of defense, especially with our worker being out on a limb over here. So let us go ahead and found an outpost. Your outpost has been constructed, will soon grow into a full city. It's important to protect the newly constructed outposts as they are vulnerable to attack. We actually get a free soldier unit for the outpost. That is actually quite nice. Now, no actions can be performed at an outpost while it is growing into a city. So we can't actually build anything here. We can't assign which tiles are worked by its population because its population is currently bugger all. So we've got to wait until it actually gets enough people to sustain itself. We will leave these marines nearby guarding it. In fact, we're going to put them in the city and just put them on fortify. You're going to build a mine, and I think we'll put our marine up on you. So we're going to have a couple of extra military units. I don't think that is a bad thing though, because the aliens feel like they're getting a little bit aggressive here. So being on such good terms, I couldn't help but notice that you've become friends with Franco Iberia. I've done the same. Perhaps this makeshift alliance will lead to great things in the future. I see they're recycling text from Civilization 5. That's absolutely fine. You guys see, we've got this siege worm down here. Now you can actually tell how hostile the aliens are towards you by the colour of the icon above them. So if they're really friendly with you and basically passive and won't hurt you, it is a sort of really dark, vibrant green. It starts to become light green towards yellow as they start to get more hostile, and eventually if it ever becomes red, avoid at all costs because they will be very, very aggressive and just go for you whenever they can. So I think what I might do is probably not go that way because I'm moving through miasma. I'll take this promoted gunner and leave it up here with the new marine to guard the outpost, and then we'll take the promoted marine and leave them with the new gunner to guard this city. And then we've got a fairly equal split of experience. You want open borders? I don't have any problem with that yet. Might change my mind later on. We'll see what happens. Not too sure whether or not the aliens can actually or will actually be aggressive towards these, they're not outposts, what are these things called? Stations. I'm not sure whether the aliens are actually aggressive or not towards stations. I guess that is something that I'm going to find out. You guys should just work, well, you might as well just go through the miasma now and you can just go and heal up when you're over there. What do we have? Production. What could we... combat rover. There we go. Combat rover is... it has 3 moves and it's a melee unit. So it's a fast-moving melee unit. That is the replacement to the cavalry. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have one of those. We could also get the spy agency going. We could also get the network going for some additional science. Might be worth getting one of those at this point. 10 turns away. Don't think we need anything that gives us the additional energy right now. Let's get the network, and then we'll think about getting the spy agency. You guys, I was moving you up here to try and come and protect that worker if you can. We have a new gunner, and you guys can come up here and you can help protect that worker as well. So, yeah, everybody's friends with everybody else. It was a fantastic, wonderful time. We still haven't discovered much of the map, and bear in mind this is only a small map, and there's quite a lot of it that we have yet to discover, which is nice. The maps are certainly bigger than I thought they were going to be when I first saw some of the production work for this game. Let's just try and protect. I'm very, very worried about the worker, so much so I'm actually going to put the gunner on top of the worker. Gunner's not the ideal unit to try and block with, but better that than have these aliens just walk onto the worker anyway. Although theoretically this tile should be safe because of the fence that pushes them away, so we should be okay there. As you can see, this outpost, it has grown in another direction. It now has another tile. We still can't do anything with it yet though. You're going to move up here and heal up. And what are we going to do with you guys? The aliens do seem to have moved away, which is quite nice. So let's take the gunner, move the gunner back, and we will put the infantry on top of the worker for now. Hopefully they're not going to go over there and attack that fort. They are getting a little bit aggressive. It is partially my own fault. I'm almost convinced there must be an alien nest up here, just looking at the sheer amount of aliens in that area. We should also probably get one of the gunboats. One, because it would be nice to explore the coastline a little bit more and try and find out what is along the coast that we could potentially trade with. And it would give us a little bit of extra sight. And secondly, I haven't built one yet, and it would be nice to see what they look like. So, let us leave that gunner on Fortify. I think that work is actually now finished anyway, so we could potentially move him somewhere else. I don't think we need a second worker yet. He's doing a pretty good job of getting everything built. Yeah, he has finished that now. So, do we have any more recommendations for you to build anything? No, we don't. There's some xenomass over here, but it has miasma on it, and the worker isn't actually... the worker isn't able to get into miasma. We don't have that miasma immunity yet. It's going to take 4 turns before we can do that. Saying that, the only other thing we could do is move him across to our other outpost. And to be honest, by the time he gets there, it's going to be 4 turns anyway. So I think what I'll do is I'll move him over into the city, and we'll just keep him doing nothing for a turn or 2 until we have the technology to be able to go and hook up the xenomass there and see what that can do for us. So let's go on to the next turn. So coming up to turn 94, which is about a fifth of the way through the game, bearing in mind we're on standard pace, and I'm guessing, but I'm not 100% sure, guessing that it's the same as Civilization 5, which is a 500 turn game. That's not to say the game will go 500 turns, that's just the maximum length of time that the game would normally go. So still a couple of turns away from getting alien biology. You guys have healed up, you can just now stay there. The worker, you can skip a turn or 2. It's going to be quite expensive and quite time consuming to build a road that connects the 2 cities up, but we may still drop another city in between the 2 of them at some point. There may be a good city location in here. I don't really know if... I guess they're not that far apart. I mean, they're, what, 1, 2... It's really hard to count tiles on this terrain without the hex grid on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles away. That's not too far away. That's not too bad at all. So quite happy with that. Worker, yeah, still 1 turn away, so do nothing on this turn. Go on to the next turn. And we should get our alien biology tech on this turn. And we've discovered alien biology.
Patent your discoveries. Each new species represents an opportunity for uncontestable ownership of that life form.
Brilliant. So, allows workers to clear miasma, and they're immune to miasma, so we can now move you into this tile. It's actually saying we should clear the miasma from this tile. Maybe this tile is going to be more useful more quickly. So let's go ahead and clear the miasma there. Cooperation agreement has expired. That is with Franco-Iberia. Let's go ahead and get that one sorted out. So let's go and discuss a cooperation agreement. Yep, she's happy to do that. That is fine. And we get to pick another research. That went a lot quicker than I thought it would. Military advisors now suggesting chemistry. Probably not a bad idea. Would give us some additional science from a laboratory. We could get some extra production from internal city or station trade routes. That'd be quite nice. It's only 6 turns away. Sure, let's go ahead and pick up chemistry. So we are a couple of turns away, 3 turns away from another virtue. That's quite nice. You want open borders. Not really sure we need it. I don't even think you've sent any units through my borders, but fine. We'll renew it if it makes you happy. Right, you are going to... Oh, you can clear a marsh as well. Well, first things first, you should clear the miasma. And go on to the next turn. What is he doing? It looks like he's spraying it with something. Perfume, I don't know. Let's have a look. Get to choose another production. So what were we going for? I think I said that I was going to try and build a gunboat just so we could have a little bit of a look around the coast. Still quite a few alien units very, very close to us, which makes me nervous. Not a lot else that I can do on this turn. Wonder if that gunboat is actually ranged and we could fire at some of these aliens from off the coast. That would be quite nice. We have a quest decision. Strange how humanity now lives on an alien planet, yet still struggles to reclaim many of its past technological achievements. Having now regained network capabilities, we move one step closer to a completely unknown future. The shape of that future will be determined by how we utilise our current technologies. For example, the network links all our systems, allowing us to disseminate our knowledge digitally, be it technological or cultural. Which of these is more beneficial? We do not know. So we can either use technology as a resource or we can use culture as a resource. If we use technology as a resource, we would get free maintenance on networks, and if we use culture as a resource, we get +1 culture. Well, I don't really think we're losing money, so let's go and have the extra culture. Saying that, we're only getting +5 energy per turn, but we've still got quite a few buildings that would give us energy if I actually got around to building them, so I haven't done them just yet. And we can develop another virtue, which is going to be really, really nice for us. So what do we pick here? Minus 40% science penalty from the number of cities for new technologies. So that could be quite useful. We could go straight into meta research methods. Leaf technologies cost 10% less science. Or we could start thinking about actually spending in some of these other virtues up here. So +1 energy for every basic resource, +5 energy in the capital. That's actually not too bad of a thing, is it really? Just getting a flat 5 energy in the capital. We're only getting +5 now. That would double the amount of energy that we get. And that would lead nicely into standardised architecture. +25% production towards buildings which have already been built in the capital. So that is basically Rome's unique ability from Civilization 5. So if you build a building in your capital city and then you build it in any of your other cities, it actually costs 25% less production. Looks like this second city here, Ayan, is only 1 tile away from well, this outpost is 1 tile away from becoming a city. It's going to grow in 1 turn, which would be really, really nice. Genetic entanglement. We've actually got a quest here to kill 3 alien units. Well, we certainly know where we can find some, because there's an absolute truck ton of them up here. So if we just move forwards a little bit and snipe at them from a distance. I'm still not entirely certain they can move into this tile, so we'll just fortify. Let them pound against the Marines while we shoot at them from the back with the gunner. It's probably a really bad idea, but we're going to try it all the same. You have managed to clear the miasma now. Is it suggesting you build anything there? No. So you might as well go ahead and clear the marsh then. So let's start shooting at these aliens, because why not? Though we should probably just nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Oh, we've certainly done some damage there. You guys are just going to fortify up. New production. Oh, okay, of course we have our new city now, so we get to build something new here. Do we bother with a worker straight away? Because I think our other worker's very soon going to be done with everything that it can. So what I'm very tempted to do over here, before I do anything else, probably build a clinic, because we don't have an awful lot of happiness, but we also want to get an ultrasonic fence up as quick as possible. But let's start work on the clinic. Which tile are we working for food? One that gives us 2 food and 1 production. That is definitely the best tile that you could be working, so I'm happy to leave it at that. Let's go on to the next turn. Actually getting 15 energy per turn now, which is quite nice. We have discovered chemistry. That was a lot quicker than I expected it to be.
4 billion-year-old world's worth of resources, shared among a handful of people. We're gonna make a fortune here.
So we can now build laboratories, which will give us +2 science. We can build a recycler, which will give us +2 production, reveals petroleum on the map, and allows us to build petroleum wells. However, petroleum wells do actually cost happiness. Every time we build a petroleum well, it is going to take our happiness down, or our health, sorry, down by 1. So let's have a quick look around. Do we have any petroleum? Yes, there is some up there. It's not within our city's reach yet, but it's not a million miles away. Some down there on the coast, some down there next to Lalibela on a miasma patch, and none that I can see next to Ion, but I'm sure we could get some if we needed to. Okay, we get to choose another research. What do we go for now? Do we even have any recommendations from our advisors? Planetary survey, what does that give us? Work barge, improvement buildable by worker units on coral and algae resources, provides +1 science, +1 production on coral, and +1 food on algae. That could be useful. And allows land units to embark across water tiles. I guess embarkation's fairly useful. And it's only 4 turns to build, and the economic advisor is saying that's a good thing to go for. So why not? Planetary survey. Let us go in for that one. A unit needs orders, of course. We are still sniping at these aliens. Now, is this my experienced gunner, or is this my inexperienced gunner? This is my inexperienced gunner. So it's good that I'm actually using the gunner to take the shots, because he's actually going to get some XP and some levels for actually doing this. And if the aliens decide to attack back, the only thing they can really do is start attacking my marines. And these are my level 3 marines, so they're actually going to be a little bit difficult for the alien to take out. So that might be a unit dead. Did we get it? Yes, we did. On to the next turn. Again, a couple more turns where we can't do an awful lot. Coming up to turn 104. So +13 culture per turn. We're down to 1 happiness, which is not great, or 1 health. It's very, very difficult getting out of the old habit of calling it happiness, because that's what it is. But we're down to 1 health. The only thing we've got decent at the moment is actually our income. The economy's pretty good. Not sure how long that's going to last, but we're going to keep taking out these units where we can. On to the next turn again, because there's not a lot we can do. We definitely need to get a few more health buildings put to good use. Now, what are these guys? These are the alien drones. I don't like them all that much. So we have a gunboat, which is fantastic. Let's build new production over here. Can we build anything that will instantly give us a little bit more happiness? It doesn't look like we can. We do want to get that spy agency going, so let's think about doing that. Gunner, of course, you are going to continue to shoot from the coast. Not really an awful lot of point in building a work barge at the moment. We don't have any coastal resources that are within reach. There's some algae there, but it's out of the reach of the city. Let's go ahead and take this gunboat. Is it a ranged unit? Yes, it is. It does have a ranged attack. Very limited movement, but it does mean that it can sit off the coast and it can bombard enemy units. So, let it bombard enemy units. Now, what would we need to actually get the gunboat upgraded? The combat rover needs level 3, affinity level 3. And the gunboat needs... No, I don't want the combat rover. I want the gunboat. The gunboat actually needs level 5, and that will become a cruiser. The missile rover will also get an upgrade at level 4 and becomes artillery, although we haven't built one of those yet because I'm not really going after anybody else's cities. Not right now. It's not to say that's not something that will happen in the future. There's always a good reason to go to war. As Marbazir says, the best culture victory is where you wipe out the opposition.
Dollar value of the property should be a priority.
So we have planetary survey. That was quick. We can now build those work barges and we can embark on water. Not particularly useful right now, but still, it could be useful later. Can't see where those aliens have gone. Just going to have a little bit of an exploration. Oh, no, there's a Kraken. We definitely want to keep away from that. We found an alien nest as well. If we fire at that Kraken, we are basically going to do nothing except piss it off, according to that. So let's back up a little bit. Yeah, so we've got that alien nest. Would be nice to clear that out. Veterancy gains. You've gained a level up. So let's go and give you discipline. It's not actually giving him the option to auto heal because he's at full health anyway. Right, research. Now I have absolutely no idea where to go. Military advisor is suggesting that we should probably go for ballistics. That would give us a rocket battery, which means +3 range for anti-orbital strike, and the city would get more hit points and some more defense. So my city's not really being attacked. We'd also get to be able to build the Stellar Codex, which would be 10% production for all orbital units. Not too bothered about that. Cultural advisor is saying defense grid. Again, more hit points and defense for our city. And all military units receive an extra +1 site. That is actually not a bad thing to take. Economics advisor is suggesting robotics. That would allow us to build a tac jet, which is the first air unit we would have. We could also build an auto plant, a Feraxite mine, and a manufactory. Manufactories would actually cost us some health. So even though they've replaced great engineers and great scientists, and you can now build those tile upgrades with workers, it is at a health or happiness cost. That would also mean we could go into swarm robotics, which would allow us to build some interesting unit additions. Interesting. We are starting to get into the sort of outer reaches of the tech web on this side now. And I'm not sure whether we should be doing that or whether we should be just going straight into something else. Geophysics. Our scientific advisor is saying geophysics. That would reveal geothermal on the map. Building geothermal wells. It's only 13 turns away. We could, of course, put the science into transcendental math, which allows the discovery of the transcendental equation and the commencement of the contact victory, which would mean we could potentially start working towards the scientific victory. Though I am very, very tempted to get robotics just for the tac jet. So let's go for robotics, and then probably from there go into the transcendental math until I realise it's a terrible idea and change my mind. Unit needs orders. You guys can't really reach anything from that tile, so just sit this turn out. Trade convoy, you can go back to trading with Lalibela, especially as that's now giving you an amazing amount of culture per turn. What we could do, once I finish kicking the microphone, is we could build another trade route and actually trade with Ian. Because what happens now when you actually trade internally between two of your cities? Unlike Civilization 5, where you took either food if you had a granary, or you could transport production if you had a workshop, it only worked one way and only transferred a flat amount of either. What actually happens in Beyond Earth is you actually, first of all, you get a two-way transfer, and you can transfer more than one resource at once. It's based on the difference between the two cities. So as you can see, if we actually set up an internal trade route with Ian, we'd be sending them 1 food and 6 production per turn, but we'd also get 3 production per turn back. So it could be quite useful. We're going to continue trading with Lalibela because we have been up until this point. We've got quite a lot of money in the bank though, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to purchase, and I'm going to make sure I get a trade convoy, not a trade vessel, because I've learnt my lesson there. And we can set that up on the next turn, so let's go into the next turn. Probably need to build a happiness building or two. Might well be worth doing that. Station discovered, Shackleton. There appears to be a Kraken, and it appears to be close to the city. I think we're going to back up just a tiny little bit and hope that it doesn't kill us in a horrible way. I guess the fence around the city should repel it, so we can always back up into the city borders if it looks like it's going to be too much of a problem. Meanwhile, let's keep bombarding these drones. I guess we could send the Marine to go and clear out the nest if we get rid of most of the aliens. There's that trade convoy. Let's go to Ayan and set that trade route up. That's going to help things along quite nicely. Let's go on to the next turn.
What's ours is yours. For a price.
So, Polystrasia wants to be mates. So, let's go ahead and do that. And Slavic Marines are moving in on the aliens. At least that Kraken hasn't moved too close yet. So what can we do here? Let us go and... Can't reach that unit anymore, so we might as well pick on this one. It is a ranged unit, so it's going to be quite weak. Maybe we can take it out quite quickly. They keep going back into the miasma to heal, but we should be okay. Okay, what else have we got? New quest update. Better living through chemistry. Earth's pharmaceutical industry was at its peak during the 21st century. While the drugs of the time were severely limited in ability, they did open our mind to the full potential of pharmaceuticals. Now our pharma lab is functional. Our technology has finally caught up with that potential. We just have to decide how to best utilise it. Enhanced function or life extension. So we've got a quest decision to make. So we can either focus on enhancing the body function, which will give us +1 science, or we can focus on life extension and give us +1 health. We desperately need the health because we are only at 0. So let's go for that. Only puts us up to +1, but it's better than nothing. And that's mainly because Ion has grown, so we need to decide where we're going to put our second population. I guess that is a good tile. It is 2 food. It's a shame there's not an awful lot else there. We are going to have to get a worker over there at some point to start doing something useful. Let's go on to the next turn. Yep, everybody's buddies. It's fantastic. Yep, everybody's friends. I see it still hasn't resolved that awful problem that Civilization 5 had, where everybody's constantly sending you messages to say, hey, you're friends with everybody else, let's all be friends. So we've got a couple of units here that we could potentially wipe out. We should probably try and do that. The gunboat should be able to finish off that unit quite easily.
If you can, touch a siege worm as it moves by. That will teach you all you need to know about the insignificance of humanity.
Well, that is a lot of pop-ups. Quest completed. Completed genetic entanglement. As theorized, the alien brain has an interstructural connection not only to its nest of origin, but to every nest, but to every nest on the planet. 2 spelt with 2 O's, so there's the first typo we've spotted. Hinting at the possibility of the shared biological consciousness. While this is certainly interesting, for now we're simply happy to have pinpointed the planet's major alien nest. So it gives us 14 affinity towards harmony, which is fantastic.
Touch a siege worm as it moves by.
So now our units take 5 hit points less damage from miasma, and we have a new upgrade available. It also means we have all of these massive number of pop-ups, which is just basically revealed the location of every alien nest on the map, which is actually fantastic, but we'll get rid of all those because we don't need like 20 pop-ups. So let's go back down here. There's still another unit or 2 we could take out, so I'm very tempted to do so if we can, because we might still be able to go and wipe out that nest. In fact, is that nest even still there anymore? Yeah, it does say there's an alien nest, so we could go ahead and wipe that out. I don't think I want to move the Marines in at this point. Upgrade available. We can upgrade the combat rover. We can either give it +20% when flanking. It doesn't say +20% what. I assume it's +20% to combat. Or 30% when attacking fortified units. Well, both of those are very situational. I guess it would be technically easier to flank with it because it is a cavalry unit. How often is it going to be attacking fortified units? Probably not all that often. So let us go for the +20% when flanking. And that is the end of the turn. And this video has run on a little bit longer than the others, so I think I'm going to call it there. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Civilization Beyond Earth. And I'll see you on the next video. So until then, goodbye for now.